Hey, welcome back to the Consumer live stream. We're going to be talking about Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty in the podcast that they had this Thursday. They covered a whole bunch of stuff. The things that we're going to focus on today are the exclusivity, which was the big thing. It had everyone losing their minds. And then we're going to get into a little bit more that interesting things that they said during the podcast. Secondly, sorry I'm out of breath. I was ripping and running through the house. But we're going to talk about Toys for Bob and some interesting things that are going on with them. And lastly, we're going to be talking about the rise of the Ronin and how it's reported that it's canceled in Korea. Very interesting story behind that, and we'll talk about that too. Um, with a lot more stuff sprinkled throughout. um, what else we've got? Uh, Before we introduce our guests, we are almost at 1,000 subscribers. So if you enjoy the live streams and the videos, um, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. It's the best thing you could do for the channel, and we really appreciate it. But with that being said, let's introduce our guests. So we've got Panda back. He's here for the laws, everybody. And then our sharp commentary coming from GamerGeek. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty
Very
good
good.
for sure. How about yourself?
Yes.
Awesome. Hey, Panda.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Ready for this live stream. I'm excited.
I am
Right
too.
on. Yes. What games? I know we never really got into, like the before chat stuff, but what games are we playing right now?
Helldivers too. That's all I
Yes,
gotta
that's
say.
right. I forgot. I totally forgot. Yes, I actually joined in on his live stream, and it was amazing. It looked super tough, and
It's
and
intense. It's intense
yes,
for a again for the price of this game, $50. Of course, you can get the special edition that they came out with if you can find it.
that
But
was so funny.
$50 for a game that you're constantly in an action movie. Let's say a Michael Bay film. I would say. I mean, maybe over exaggerating a bit, but it was so much that my game started almost to crash because there was so much action going on.
Wow.
It was kind of amazing to watch.
And of course the whole space and bugs and of course Starship Troopers. It's the whole parody of what the game's about. It
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
That's what I believe Helldivers 1 parodied off was just Starship Troopers. So it's good that they kept that same tone and violence and comedy action that there's even points of the game where I'm laughing where you get hurt and the guy's like, "Oh, my leg." And I'm like, "Oh my god."
That's great.
oh
That's
my
great.
gosh, have you've seen the movie, haven't you? Because
I,
you say you hadn't,
I
but I was
haven't, but
wondering.
I have to
Right on.
now. I have to now because of
Yes,
this game.
dude, it is so good. It has everything. It's got the interdimensional travel. It's got the alien bugs. It's got the blood and gore. It's got everything. It's
It
so good.
I would say the game, to what I've seen from clips of the movie, is
Mhm.
almost a one-to-one reference. The
Yes.
bugs look the
Yep.
same, the creatures look the same.
Oh
The
yeah.
the Starship Troopers like one-liners that they say is almost the same as what I've seen. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a good game. I really enjoy it. You get your what they say the last stand feel where
Yeah.
you're
Oh
trapped
shoot!
in a corner
Really?
just trying to shoot all these bugs and you're gonna make it maybe, I don't know, but I might
You
die
went through a
here.
couple of those during the live stream,
Yes.
bro. Yes. That's so hilarious, dude.
It's a good game. I would recommend it for those who are looking for something new right now, for sure.
Okay. Right on. Right on. And Panda, or sorry, Gamer. What are we playing right now?
I am actually finishing up Resident Evil 2 remake.
Very cool. Okay.
And then my 15-year-old decided that he was going to start playing the other day, and
Nice.
he
Hey,
always makes
what's
fun
up?
of me because I'll get jump scared. And so I've been sitting in my room and listening to him like every once in a while scream, and then I'll just start busting out laughing. And
Yeah.
he's like, "I'm glad you made these tutorials because it's really helping
Yes.
me do my
Yes.
game." And he's almost done with Leon's campaign, so I'm kind of proud.
That's very cool. Oh my God. You know, freaking Resident Evil has always been touchy for me
Mhm.
just because I saw the Night of the Living Dead, the black and white,
Mm.
when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
And so my biggest fears are heights and being eaten alive by zombies. So I've never
There you
gotten
go. There you
into
go.
the Resident Evil franchise, but I'm going to. I'm going to do it
Yeah.
just because I don't want to deprive myself of the experience. It seems like so much fun.
Yeah,
It,
And
it really is.
it's
It really
Resident
is.
Evil was a good title to start off with a good zombie fear.
yeah, yeah, right on. My gosh. Let me see if I did this right. I hope I did. Oh, we've got some.
Hey, what's
Oh,
going on,
nope,
Diggs?
I
Thanks
didn't
for
do it right.
joining the live. We're just doing a podcast. We're all
I
just
tried.
over here messing
So
around talking about
what I
what's
was
going on.
trying to do was get the chat going again, like last time, but it's totally not gonna let me.
It doesn't like us today, huh?
No.
Well, he fixed the audio today, and then now the
There you
comments
go.
aren't working.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, what I'll do
The
is
video is delayed just a
let's get
bit,
into our
just because
first
I'm streaming him on
kind of
mine. So if it looks
big
kind of weird,
story.
that's what it
So
is.
the thing that was sending everyone over the edge was the exclusivity. The rumors came out, and some were backtracked, but you know, the truth. You know, a rumor will make its way around the world before the truth can put its shoes on. You know,
Oh yeah.
so everyone's freaking out. Starfield was rumored to come, Gears of War, and all that good stuff. But Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty, they did a podcast on Thursday and kind of calmed everyone's nerves on that. Kind of set the record straight, confirmed, and all that good stuff. And I'm so glad that YouTube has chapters now, so I didn't have to pre-record, I didn't have to download the video or anything like that. So let's get into what Phil Spencer has to say about exclusivity.
Okay.
All right. You know what? Here we go.
So let's just go and tackle the exclusivity question, because I know it's on the minds of a lot of people. We hear from the community, and that's an important input for us. So we made the decision that we're going to take 4 games to the other consoles, just 4 games, not a change to our kind of fundamental exclusive strategy. We're making these decisions for some specific reasons. We make every decision really with the long-term health of Xbox in mind. And long-term health of Xbox means a growing platform, our games performing, building the best platform for creators, reaching as many players as we can. We're always looking to learn as a leadership team and to grow. And we think this is an interesting point in time for us to use what some of the other platforms have right now to help grow our franchises. So we're going to do.
Right. And so whenever he's talking about a good place for gamers and creators, he's talking about the developers. He wants it easier for the developers to create games and make games for, you know, the platforms that they want. And I think that is freaking awesome. So I saw a question being raised. It was an article, and it asked, did the podcast do well? Did Phil Spencer do well? And I have to say 100%, 100% absolutely yes. He came out, he was clear, concise. I do wish they wouldn't have went with the podcast type um, style, but this, you know, he did a good job of conveying what it is they're going to be doing with exclusivity and what they want to do with their creators and gamers and how they want to move forward. I think he did a really good job.
I have to agree with that. I think that I know that some people are saying that it's just lip service, but I felt like he did a great job explaining it and kind of quelling fears. I know everybody wanted to know what those 4 games were, but
Yeah.
I do agree with him not wanting to steal the thunder from the developers.
Yes.
We'll probably find out at the showcase
Mhm.
what's going on with that one.
Wednesday's in June.
Mhm.
Okay.
But I think he did really good.
Yeah, I would say that was the whole point, right? He's putting more emphasis on he's working with the developers and not like what we were talking before, not pushing them to pull out all these games because they don't
That's right.
want to. So
Hmm.
Of course, we already know what 4 games are coming out, but
Yes,
you could.
we do have an idea.
I was gonna say you could already tell those are developer-based games, right? Those
Mhm.
Hmm.
games were made for gamers and were based off what the developer wanted, right? So,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
if they want to know what 4 games, they can, we could figure it out what they are. But from
Hmm.
the 2 out of the 4 games that I saw, it seems like they were more based off the consumer and the developer. They're
Yeah.
real polished games. They're pretty good.
Hmm.
They have a pretty good fan base, so I would imagine once it crossed over to Sony, that fan base would grow even more, especially with those two type of games that that I'm trying to mention
Hmm.
are actually pretty good games, right? You got your type of action based game, and then the other one's survival based game. I mean, technically they're both survival based games, but at the same time, that fan base is probably going to grow more with the
Yeah.
developers trying to work better towards being cross platform.
Which I completely agree with. And, console wars, I get the business side of it, but as far as, the inner fighting between gamers and,
Hmm.
I'm this console and you're that console, um,
Yes.
I've never really understood. I'm just like, I want to play games.
Yes.
I don't really care where, as long as they're good, as long as they work.
Hmm.
I want to play games. And I think that Phil is trying to kind of cross that divide a little bit as far
Hmm.
as the community based, which is what he put emphasis on. So, like those
Yes.
online games, the multiplayer games, and stuff like that, so that more players can play and the games can be enjoyed by more people and the franchise can grow. Because if the more players you have, the more likely you have to have a sequel or updates or
Yes.
something like
Yes.
that. So,
That's right.
I think it's a great strategy.
Yeah,
Hmm. And
I want to play
oh, go ahead.
games like I did with
Sorry.
my friends and family back in the day, right? Like you were
Right?
saying, gamer, you
Yes.
would have to borrow to play with them,
Hmm.
but now with different consoles, it's I want to play, uh, 7 Days to Die with my Xbox buddy when I'm on Sony, or you know what I mean? Like I want to play
Oh my
something
gosh.
chill, something like that. So
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I mean, some people can only afford the one console,
Hmm.
and so it's nice to be able to get that, you know, shared experience.
That's right.
Like,
Yeah.
I still have, Army family. I wish I could play with them because I'm stuck on my PlayStation and they're with their Xbox.
Yeah.
I have Xboxes, but my kid monopolizes them, so it's not like I'm going to get on them.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
so, but it would be really cool, being able to connect with, your friends, whether they're on Xbox or PlayStation or
Hmm.
whatnot. So
Oh yeah.
I like the strategy.
And I think that PlayStation's missing a really good opportunity to kind of like see what Xbox is doing and kind of emulate their strategy in the same way, you know.
Mm,
But um, what I really hate to see is PlayStation is fighting Xbox on so many fronts when in reality it's just going to make them better, you know.
yeah.
In Xbox or Phil Spencer specifically, he talked about basically wanting to be everywhere during the
Mm,
podcast. Um, like what's going on with Netflix right now, they're like the only streaming service that's doing well. Everyone else is hemorrhaging money, hemorrhaging subs, and everything like that. And Netflix seems to be in a stable place. I think what Xbox is doing, they're setting themselves up to be ready whenever gamers are going to make that change to subscription services. I think that's where we'll end up ultimately. Um, you've got your Ubisoft Plus, you've got Game Pass, you've got all these ones that are kind of dabbling in it. Well, Game Pass is by far the best one,
oh yeah.
and they have the most games. But I do believe that there's a time that consoles will not be as popular. People won't be buying consoles. It won't be a huge thing, and subscription services will be. And Xbox is setting themselves up to be the number one choice for when players are trying to make that change or ready to make that switch over. I don't think we'll totally see um, consoles go away 100%, and I don't think that we'll totally see physical media go away. I like the option, you
Yes.
digital, your physical,
Mhm.
I like having that
I
option.
always want options. I want to be able to, you know, have my physical, have my digital, be able to
Oh
have
yeah.
my stuff on the go. If I have a family emergency or I'm planning a trip or something like that, I want to
There
be
you
able
go.
to access my stuff anywhere I am.
Yes.
So I love that with Xbox. As far as consoles go, like I get that they'll probably go away or might not be as popular.
hmm
My case for consoles is that um, I don't have to upgrade my computer. I don't
Yeah.
have to switch video cards. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So for the life cycle of that console, at least 6 years, I'm steady. I've got it. But with PC, I might have that PC for like a year, and then something else comes out, and I'm not going to meet the specs for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
And
a lot more
that's
affordable to have a console as well than it is to
yeah,
upgrade a PC every year for sure.
exactly. And so that's why I'm so big for consoles staying and not going
Yeah.
away, because financially it's better for
Yeah.
a gamer.
Yeah.
So that's my only thing.
Let's pop into what the whole kind of panel had to say about multi-platform availability, and why it is good for business, and why Sony or PlayStation in particular should pay close attention to what he's saying.
Growth in this industry.
And my understanding, just from listening and learning from you three over the past few weeks, just understanding what's happening with Xbox, is that we see trends with player behavior where people are playing on multiple devices. That is the reality. And we have put some games out on multiple platforms before. So my understanding is that that's been good for players. How does that come back to the business with all of that in mind?
Yeah, as you said, we have shipped games on other platforms. In fact, realistically, if you look with the addition of Activision and Blizzard and ZeniMax, we're one of the largest game publishers on PlayStation. We're one of the largest publishers on the Nintendo Switch, especially when you put Minecraft into the equation as well. And now we're one of the largest publishers on mobile platforms as well. And that's not something that we want to back away from. We want to continue to be building great games that millions and millions of people can love. And that they can play those games where they want to go play. But we do understand the business success that Xbox has to have. Us as leaders in this business, the system today, the system that all companies that we play video games from, is a world of you got to be growing your business. Growth in an Xbox business is critical to the long-term health of Xbox. Many people know I've been on Xbox for over 20 years, and I want to make sure Xbox is in the best position for the next 20 years. That means healthy player community, healthy creator community, and healthy business. So when we look at opportunities to allow more people to play, more people engage, more people to buy, more people to subscribe, it's all about putting Xbox in the best position. And our hardware is a critical component of that. The absolute best experience somebody has on Xbox is hardware that your team builds and that people play on. But that's not going to be everybody. We fully accepted that we're going to have Xbox players across all kinds of devices.
So I think a lot of people...
And I think that's really, really important. And I think that PlayStation should take note. Not necessarily, their exclusives, the reasons that people play PlayStation, but they've got a bunch of games that aren't their tent poles, that they could like really just kind of give out to anyone, kind of pepper the other platforms and let people know, hey, PlayStation is a valuable platform. You can play here, and we have, other titles, better titles. Once you join our ecosystem, that you'll, we guarantee you enjoy. I think they should be taking that route, and they kind of are. I didn't bring it up, the video of PlayStation CEO talking about how they're going to make a harder push to get into PC, but I think he should diversify that. I think he should be pushing it towards Xbox also. But that's just me.
I don't think it's just going to be a PC push. I think it's going to go towards Game Pass if you think about it, because Game Pass is on PC, correct?
That's right. Yes.
So maybe it's just like a play on words. You know what I mean? Like, I understand the push towards PC because it's, a bigger, uh, broader kind of like spectrum for more people. But if you
Hmm.
think about it, if they're already putting it on PC, what's stopping them for just giving it to Game Pass after that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get that. Um, they're third party games. I'm sure they could do some more sharing with that. Uh,
Hmm.
I like that they're going to PC and trying to get a little bit more business there. Uh, it's a smart move because a lot of
Hmm.
people, like with Horizon Forbidden West, they just released that on PC and everybody's excited.
Yeah.
It gets that into their hands, and it's a
Hmm.
smart move because they can get more console sales that way.
Yes.
Um, so I like that they're kind of following Microsoft's suit in that way,
Hmm.
but they've got to figure out something that can compete with Game Pass. Their PlayStation
Yes.
Plus does not.
No.
It's extremely expensive.
Yes.
Um, I've got the top tier, and then they just raised prices. But
Hmm.
if I get a game on there, it's not like the standard PlayStation Plus. I put it in my library, I have it forever.
Right.
That's not how it is on the top tier. Um, and that kind of sucks. But that also happens with Game Pass. I know, like my son was like, "Oh, they removed such and such game, and now I can't
Mhm.
play it." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like, you know.
Right on, right on. Um, as far as all that goes, I'm if it's on it like a kind of your Netflix and things like that, um, you don't necessarily own that media. You're paying to kind of rent it, So if they do go towards that, I think it'd be more important than ever to kind of hold on tight to your physical media
Yes,
because
I
you don't
know
yes.
own
we're
any of that.
we're talking about this last week, right? About
Hmm.
digital to physical.
Mm-hmm.
Other than Helldivers, I went to go buy another game that I was looking for my PS4,
Yeah.
and digitally, it was $30. I went to GameStop and I bought it for $15, and I was like, yeah, I'm glad
Yeah.
there's still
Okay.
physical copies, because if not, I would be out another 15-30 bucks.
Yeah. So just a quick note on that. Thank you for mentioning that. But how come? And I think you have been railing against this too, gamer. Why are
Yes.
digital copies more or just as expensive as physical copies? They shouldn't be.
Exactly. You don't have to pay for the discs. You don't have to pay
Mhm.
for the packaging. You don't have to pay for the printing for
That's what's
all of
crazy too.
everything.
It's like
So
you're paying a brand new game digital when
Yeah.
I could buy it brand if I could find it brand new at Walmart for $15, half the
mhm.
price for a 3-4 year old game,
Mhm.
and I'm looking in the PlayStation store or Xbox store for full price as it was still out, when it came out. I'm like, damn man,
Mhm.
I'd rather look online, call a couple stores and see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Or if they have a shipping, I'll rather pay the extra $1 to ship it to my house to still save myself, 15-20 bucks.
That's right.
Exactly. I
Oh
always
my
try to go
gosh.
for the cheaper route, but for me, I still usually always end up getting a physical copy of it anyway
Mhm.
because licensing changes. That's why games are leaving PlayStation
There it
Plus
is.
top tiers and
Mhm.
leaving Game Pass. Um, so if they're once they're gone, they're gone. You're not
Yeah.
going to play it without buying it.
Yep.
So eventually, I usually always get a physical copy,
Mhm.
but the my case for physical copies, and I'm actually going to be putting an article on my website about this, an
Right
opinion
on.
piece, in the next week. But Sony, you know, any other studio, any other manufacturer, they're not going to come to my house and take my stuff because a license went up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
Columbia can't come in and grab one of my CDs
Yeah.
once the licensing
That's
is
right.
up on like Apple Music or Spotify or something.
Yes.
So I think it's very important to have, physical copies. It's kind of
Mhm.
like back in the early 2000s when PCs were just getting popular and getting up there and everybody started having one.
Mhm.
We always made all these backups of all our files and
That's
everything.
right.
Well, now
Yes.
we have the cloud, but I can tell you I still have hard drives, I still have flash drives with
Yes.
stuff backed up from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
um and it's really important because
Mhm.
I didn't think I'd need something from 20 years ago, but the other day I did need something from 20 years ago, and I
Yeah.
had it right there because I had it physically.
Yes. Yep. Even if it's like a digital file, you have it
Yes.
with
Yes.
you.
Exactly.
And I think people have been posing this kind of answer to the questions because, like you said, once the licensing goes up, you lose that media forever.
Mhm.
And so I think someone, like the government should step in and say, because it's like you're being robbed. You paid for this media. They're not giving you a refund in
Mhm.
some of the cases that I've looked at, and they are able to take that media away from you. That's not okay. That should not be right. That's robbery, basically.
Exactly. And like I know you and I had talked off camera about this, but it's like the Sony Discovery
Hmm.
licensing being up.
Hmm.
Everybody that bought stuff on Discovery is now losing it.
Yeah.
Funimation, I know, is getting taken over by Crunchyroll,
Hmm.
and their stuff isn't being refunded either. But
That's right.
it's because of the way that they worded those terms and conditions, so
Yeah.
they're able to get away with it. And I don't
Yeah.
think that that's right. I think
Nope.
if I pay $40 for a season, I 6 years later I shouldn't have to worry about a license, going
100%.
up
Yeah.
and me losing that material. However, there's also the fact that in this world with denial of service attacks and
Mhm.
erasing accounts and all this other
Yeah.
stuff,
Oh yeah.
there's a huge case for having the physical media, or at least a way to get some form of backup,
Right
so
on.
that you have that material. But if you pay for it, think about it. The digital, you're just like we just said, we're paying the same price as going to get physical, but we're paying for the convenience of having it anywhere we want at our fingertips all the time
That's right.
across multiple devices.
Yeah.
But if I'm paying the same price to get digital as I am to go get the physical copy, I
Mhm.
should be able to have it forever.
Yes. 100%.
You also
And
got
I,
to think about
yeah.
digital uses a lot more space as well. It doesn't
True.
help out if you're, especially if you go digital console where it's less space or a little bit more space in a disc console, you're still losing either the same amount, if not more space, just to keep that game in your console.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you really are.
Yeah. Yeah. And it I as far it like what you were saying, um, I 100% agree with you on all of that. The digital version should be cheaper, and when you had mentioned it's the convenience, totally fine, but it still shouldn't be like a a tit for tat. It shouldn't be 70 and 70. Maybe that
Yes.
convenience fee is 10-15 bucks. You know what I mean? It's like,
Something. But it
yeah,
should be cheaper to have digital,
yeah,
but there should also be protections for consumers when it comes to digital media.
100%. We're going to move into what they said about their next hardware, their devices going forward. As we know, they're not completely getting out of the hardware game. Xbox isn't. And this is what I want to say Sarah Bond, I want to say she's the one that mentioned this, but this is what she had to say about their hardware.
So we're talking about the role that hardware plays for creators, for the games and those communities. What about the role that hardware plays for us as a business, for Xbox?
When we look at our hardware, it really is, and Phil said this earlier, it's where you get like the most flagship seminal experience of Xbox. And it also represents a developer target. Our developers can build the specs of our hardware, and we invest to make sure they know when they do that, that the games are going to run great on our hardware, but they're also going to be able to be accessed across any screen because of all the other investments we make. So we're giving them an easy way to access as many players as possible. And we actually have more creators right now building for Xbox than ever before by nature, thousands of them by nature of those investments. And we got more to come. There's some exciting stuff coming out in hardware that we're going to share this holiday. And we're also invested in the next generation roadmap. And what we're really focused on there is delivering the largest technical leap you will have ever seen in a hardware generation, which makes it better for players and better for creators and the visions that they're building.
And okay, so I'm not gonna lie. I kind of don't believe her because it's like if you had this, if you were developing this, like, why not put it out earlier? Why was the Series X not like that big leap? You know what I mean? Not unless they just came upon this, not too long ago.
Well, the
But
other thing that got me too was how she was saying that she's using all this hardware with developers and stuff. Like,
mm,
you're supposed to already have this to begin with, especially when you're making all these games, right? We talked about it last week where, PC and Sony have their own game developer kits that they give the developers, like, hey, here's
mm,
what we have. If we need to upgrade it, let us know. We'll give you a better kit. But if that works, that's what you're gonna use. And
yeah,
if they're saying like, oh yeah, we're still working on that, it's like, no, you should have had that done years ago.
right on. Well,
True.
like my thing is like their consoles are declining right now, and I mean, on paper it says that the Xbox is more powerful, but like we were talking about, how would a Halo look on PlayStation? I would say it would look much better. You know what I mean? In
Mhm.
my opinion, I think it would look so much better. And then, not to mention the problems that they're having with the S right now, and games not being able to be ported over there. It's like, okay, this leap in technology would have served you so much better with the Xbox Series X, seeing as your consoles aren't selling that well. If you would have like beautiful looking games on your console, I that's one of the reasons why I stuck with PlayStation so long. From the PS1 on, their graphics to me have been top notch. That's not including PC. We're not talking about PC. I know we
Mhm.
probably got some PC purists that will watch this, but I'm talking about as far as consoles. PlayStation, in my opinion, has always looked like miles ahead of Xbox. In my.
I kind of agree with that.
Hmm.
To me, PlayStation has always been better on graphics, better
Hmm.
on like virtual photography,
Hmm.
runs smoother. Uh, I mean, honestly, like my kid can be in the middle of playing something on his Xbox Series S and be like, "Oh my god, it just crashed," or "Why did it do that?" Whereas I don't have that problem when I am playing any of my PlayStation stuff, even if I get it from PlayStation Plus.
Hmm.
Um, the thing with Xbox that I think really hurts them is that they were a computer company, and
Hmm.
that's their majority. So they focus on, well, this processor is way better than PlayStation's processor, and this
Hmm.
and that and the other thing. Well, the thing that Sony gets right is that they know how to work their hardware
Hmm.
and their games, and
Yeah.
that's why they turn out so well.
Mhm,
Um, Xbox is like, oh, we're the most powerful, this, and this. Well,
mhm.
you can be the most powerful. You can be the strongest person on the football team, but still not be able to play because you don't know how to use what you have.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's
Um,
you need the team to be pushing your whole system instead of just you by yourself.
exactly.
When you go all out saying that you're the strongest, the best, the fastest,
Mhm.
and then you don't have a game other than Forza Horizon that looks amazing on Xbox, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But if that's the only game that you could show me that's good, okay, maybe down it a little bit.
Right on. Okay,
Agreed.
so it sounds like maybe their system is top notch. They have the technology. It's a $6 million man. We have the technology, but um, it's maybe they don't have their games optimized to take advantage of the full capacity of the machine,
They will make it
right?
stronger.
Maybe, but again, like with last week, I told you they still
Mhm.
haven't signed their contract with AMD
That's
as
right.
of last week. So
Mm,
PlayStation already has their contract with AMD for their next gen console
yeah,
already signed. So what are you doing?
Yeah,
yeah.
it just points a good point, right? It shows that they're getting ahead of the game. They're
Mhm,
making sure they got what they need for the next couple years because it
mm.
takes what 4 to 5, if not 6 years to make the new console.
Yep.
Why wait this long? Why wait to the last minute to get what you need?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
agree. So we'll see. We'll see if they turn out with their biggest technological leap or not.
yeah. Um, I don't think I'm skeptical. Let's just say that I'm skeptical. We do know that their mid gen refresh Console is going to be all digital. I don't think they're coming out with a digital or not digital, but a physical a disc version of that console. So
Okay.
I mean, and that's another thing that's kind of got people freaked out is that
Which I think
you
is
know,
unfortunate.
yeah. I'm a big proponent of the digital consoles just because it's way more convenient for me to just go into the PlayStation Store and download it, which I mean you can do on the disc drive, the ones with the disc drive,
Mhm.
but I don't really see myself buying physical media. I think the last time I did was with God of War 2018.
Yeah.
That was like the last game I bought in physically. Everything else has been digital. It's just so easy. It's like
Mhm.
I'll finish playing a game and I'm like, man, I wonder what's going on with this one. You know, look it up
Mhm.
or see something on PlayStation Store. It's like, man, that looks cool. Download it and I'm playing it within the hour. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
Or like with me, where you don't hardly ever sleep, and you're up most of the night, and I want that right at midnight. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
buy digital.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So
But that goes back to the whole point where not everything is digital right anymore.
correct.
There's games out there that I wish I could still buy digitally, but I
Hmm.
Mhm.
either I have to get my PlayStation back on and see if it's gonna my PS3 to see if it's gonna be available on their store. If not, eBay or Amazon, I guess.
Yeah, which we were talking about last week with what was it? Chainsaw Lollipop.
Yep.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that
Yes.
game looks so good.
Which yeah, like I'm really excited. I hope they really are doing a remake of it. But once we were talking about it the other day, I was like totally forgot about it, and now I want to buy it. I'm gonna go hunt it down. So
It's so crazy.
Well, all I know
Yeah.
is it's a lot cheaper on Xbox and a lot more common. So if you have a 360,
it is. I don't have a 360 though, so but it might be on the backwards compatibility on the Xbox One. So
There you
maybe
go.
we'll check that out.
All right, I think I have it figured out. I got to figure it out. I think the chat. So let's
Okay,
get into
okay.
the chat real quick.
you got to catch up. There's a bunch.
All right.
Yeah, there is. I replied in the chat earlier to at least
Awesome.
one thing.
Okay. Lord Beers, salutations, everyone. It's the weekly meeting of the Justice League of YouTube. You're
Yes.
way too kind, Lord Beers. Oh my gosh, dude. We have the Fox the Wise, Panda the Powerful, and lastly Gamer Geek Lounge, the courageous hero, like a modern day Wonder Woman meets Resident Evil. Hey now,
There you go. Thank you.
She's
so
blushing, guys. Come on.
good.
Oh man, I think that's the goal right now. They're probably playing a drinking game. Who can make Gamer Geek blush the most?
Ooh. Here's Lord Beers with the anime recommendation.
Mhm.
If any of y'all like anime, you gotta watch Ninja Kamui. It came out last week and it slaps hard like a WWF
Ooh,
match
that's
in
the
the
one
90s.
that came out on Toonami, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
It-
which
It looks super good.
it
Okay,
does.
I've
I
been
plan to check that out this weekend. Actually,
okay. I'm gonna have to do the same thing. I've been watching what's that one where the ninja he gets in it's in Japan. This king makes him go to this island to grab this elixir that makes him live forever. It makes him immortal. I can't remember the name of it. I will. You know what? Before we get out of here, I'm gonna do that. We got one from John DBZ. There was more than one Starship Trooper movie, and there was an animated series for Starship Troopers as well. I've seen the like advertisements for the other Starship Trooper movies, but none of them look as good as the first one. None of them look as good. So I never really wanted to. It's kind of like Tarzan is like my favorite Disney movie. Tarzan 2 never got into it because it looks second rate, you know.
I never liked those Disney sequels. I'm always
Yeah, I was
just
gonna
like,
say I think
Right.
most
Yeah,
Disney
yeah.
sequels kind of weren't that well.
Yeah.
Lion King 2 was pretty good.
Yeah, it was cute. It was
Is
cute.
that one with Kobo?
It's what is his name? I can't remember. But yes, yeah, the ones that looks exactly like Scar. Yeah,
I think that's
Mhm.
Kobo.
Kovu.
Yes.
Yes. I'm so sorry. We got another one from Lord Beers. She's killing it in the Resident Evil 2 remake series. Yes, it's an addictive. Is as addictive as eating a bag of chips, and we all know how addictive that is. I can concur with that.
I know. I can't eat one thing of chips.
No, it's like Pringles.
Yeah.
Another one from Lord Beers. GamerGeek's son went into the family business. Does he have a channel?
Not yet. I actually told him that he couldn't have a channel until he was 16. So next
Right on.
year.
That's
Next year.
very smart. Yes.
Yeah, and that's if he keeps his grades up.
Right on. So it's so weird, right? Like when we were growing up, you know, it's be a doctor, be a lawyer or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But when we came of age, and it passes by just a little bit, but now you can play games for a living. And if my son came to me and was like, "Dad, I want to be a streamer," or I want to, stream on Twitch, I'd be like, "That's totally fine with me,"
Yeah.
There's big business. You can make tons of money doing it now.
Let me save up some couple bucks first.
Exactly. I think my son's been talking about it since he was probably like 9 or 10 about how he wanted to be a streamer, and I said that's fine. I said you just have to make sure you graduate high school, and keep your grades up and stuff like that, and then when you're 16, I'll help you launch a channel and
so
stuff
cool.
like that. So that's the plan so far.
Okay, that's freaking awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what this is in reference to, Lord Beers, but he says, "Good one, Panda."
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I wish I would have gotten it up. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
I freaking dropped the ball. Lord Beers, you made him a first aid spray he couldn't refuse.
See, that's a Resident
Evil
reference. Yeah, like I saw the funniest meme the other day. It was like, "Oh, my leg got chopped off. Let me use this magical spray." Because in 7 and 8,
yes,
you are constantly like losing limbs as Ethan Winters, and it's insane. Like
yes.
with his hand, he loses it. He like staple guns it back on, throws some liquid first aid stuff on it, and I'm just like, I don't know what that is.
And then his hand starts moving back to. He's like nothing happened.
Like you don't have to connect blood vessels, you don't have to connect nerves, you don't have to connect tendons. Just slap that thing on, staple it, and then pour this liquid on it. And,
the more and more I looked into that game, the more and more those little scenes kind of like gave away the real story about that game. I'm not gonna ruin it because if Darkfox is gonna get into this game, it'll at the end of the game you'll be like, what? It's a whole M. Night Shyamalan kind of thing.
Oh,
yes,
sorry.
it is.
I've already backseat game that one, Village.
Yeah. Village. Yeah, but 7 you'll get some surprises in.
Yes.
Oh, no way. Okay. Right on. Here we go. Preach it, brother Fox. It is highway robbery. Yes, and I believe that's in reference to them taking your games away, even though you freaking paid for them. Lord Beerus again. GamerGeek is right. Once you pay, then it should be yours. No limits. 100%.
Yes.
We're reaching the end here. This is the second before last one. Excellent point, Panda, about the space.
Yeah, because you like with my digital PlayStation, I got what was it like 825 gigabytes of space, and that's just the total amount of space that's put in there. That doesn't count all of your system stuff and everything that's already installed that eats up that space.
That's right.
And then they made it really easy to upgrade the SSD, which was fantastic. But still, you've got to pay X amount on top of it, to get all this
things aren't
extra
cheap
space.
anymore, man.
Well, the prime example that I had was I bought Modern Warfare 2. I bought both a disc because they gave it to me for Christmas, and then I bought it digitally.
Oh man,
digitally, I think it was a little over 65 gigs, just digital. And
that's
then
child's play now, man.
it is, and then disc because it was on a disc, it was only 14 gigs, and I was like, that's a big difference if I want to go digital.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Last comment here from Lord Beerus. Personally, I don't trust digital for many reasons, including this exact reason the three of you are talking about. I'd rather get physical copy and it's mine, and they can't do nothing about it. 100%. Yep. For me, it's more the convenience of it. It doesn't run better necessarily. There are no like perks or anything like that. That's why I don't think it should be as the same price as a physical one. But it's the convenience of it. It's being able to go to the Play Store and download it, and I'm able to play it within the hour. And that's all for the comments. Let's move into um, Crash. We've got
Yes.
Crash Toys for Bob.
Mhm.
A report came out about them shutting their studio down. And what did you say about that, Gamer?
I said that what it turned out to be, which we were all pretty scared when they said they were shutting down Toys for Bob.
Mhm.
But what it turned out to be was they were a small studio anyway, and they were actually renting a former airplane hangar, which is a huge amount of space. And at the time, they only had like 83 or 86 employees or something before they shut it down. Their lease was ending anyway. So that's something that we didn't get to see in the media when they said that Xbox was shutting them down.
Yeah.
So it was a relief to see that it was because their lease was up and they're looking for a smaller space.
Right.
Xbox is still behind them and wanting them to work on things and such like that. They did get rid of employees. They went down to like 50, which you had mentioned earlier as well. So I totally get that. They don't need an airplane hangar.
Right.
I've been in many an airplane hangar and they are huge.
Yes.
83 people in there. Like, what were y'all doing? Did you have like a football field in there for lunch breaks and stuff?
Right
like,
on.
It was just too much room anyway. But so I agree with them shutting down that and not renewing the lease and finding something else. But again, Microsoft's dropping the ball because when stuff like this is happening, they're breaking news and everybody's just running wild with their own theories. They're not saying anything.
That's right. Yeah.
And waiting for a podcast. I can see on the exclusivity and everything like that, but Phil was just like, "Oh well, it's been 3 weeks. I'll tell you something soon. We're listening,
Yes.
but we'll get to it later." It's like, ugh.
Right. That's so freaking funny. It's like, come on, Phil, great guy. I can see why, people who are in the Xbox ecosystem, I can see why they love him and defend him so hard, because he's such a down-to-earth guy.
He is
very smart, but he's able to, reach the layman people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what teraflops are. I bet.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah, Phil especially would be able to kind of break it down and explain it to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
it's just like the higher you go into the space, like people didn't know gigabytes before terabytes or any of that, and the teraflops and speed.
I get those. It's just the teraflops. Oh my god, I heard that and I was like, are we driving a spaceship? What's happening right now?
I know.
Teraflops. Oh my
even the first time I heard that years ago, I was just like, wait, what do I need to learn for this computer class? So I get what you're saying.
Oh my goodness. But let's get into the article real quick. Sorry.
Okay, no, you're good.
Because I'm all over the place right now.
That's okay. It's Saturday morning.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. Toys for Bob has new projects in the works and Microsoft supports them. So, everyone thought that they were getting shut down. You heard them shutting down their studio, their office, and then they were losing people. So everyone was like, "Oh God, they're shutting down the studio that owns." Xbox owns them ultimately, but the ones that have Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. So everyone was like freaking out. It's like, and one of the things, whenever I was looking into this article, I've had a PlayStation 1 forever. But back then I wasn't looking at the studios. To me, like whenever, it booted up and then the studio would come on, I'd be like, gosh, just get me to the game. I don't care.
XXXXXX.
Exactly. Nobody cared about the studios before.
Right.
Even still, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Sony studio. I don't care. Get me to the games.
Yes. So I had no idea that Crash Bandicoot was a Naughty Dog game.
Yeah.
And Spyro was a Insomniac game. I didn't know that. Oh my god.
Isn't that neat, though?
It's tragic just because, freaking now they're owned by Xbox.
Yeah. I think what happened with Naughty Dog and Insomniac is they were they weren't making so much when the PS2 came out, so they had to sell their big titles to
Right on.
keep afloat.
Yeah,
That's
to
brutal.
Activision. Yeah.
That's so brutal. And now look at them.
I
You know
know.
what I
Now
mean?
I'm pretty sure if they could, they would probably buy them back in a
Oh,
Right
heartbeat.
on.
Mhm.
Yeah, because now all we're looking forward to is remakes, and not just remakes, freaking remakes of The Last of Us. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah,
It's like for the past like 3 or 4 years, that's all they've been doing.
it's the
That's it.
Grand
It's
Theft
like,
Auto saga again.
but with Grand Theft Auto, they come out with new games. With
Well,
the
no,
Last
because
of Us series,
Grand Theft Auto
yeah.
was on the 3, and they just keep remaking it until it came out on the 5. So that's what
But
they're.
It's really true. They have they've had a decade and 3 consoles that they've released on there, and they're just raking in the dough. They're just like suckers.
I'm not gonna lie, I did it too. I bought all 3 of them for all 3 consoles.
Yeah, we have them too,
Right on. Okay.
and for
Um,
multiple consoles.
Yeah,
what
that's
really
the
gets
thing.
me.
It's oh man.
there's only one game I've done that with, and that was Shadow of the Colossus.
Mhm. That's
Um,
a good game.
Hopefully they remake it. I don't know if they remade it for the PS5 yet, but when I first played it on the PS4, absolutely fell in love with it. The story and everything like that, and even how tragic it is, was amazing. But
Yeah.
if that'll be the only game that I buy for different consoles. Anyway,
That's cool.
when Microsoft announced that 1,900 people from the gaming division, mainly Activision Blizzard, was going to lose their jobs, Toys for Bob, Skylanders Crash Bandicoot Trilogy was amongst the ones hit the hardest. There were even rumors claiming that the studio might be shut down for good after they closed their office. Fortunately, it didn't happen, and now the Crash Spyro YouTuber, Canadian Guy A, has told us more about the fate, of Toys for Bob. It turns out they did shrink quite a lot and went from 86 to 50 people. Them closing the office was planned thing, with the lease running out for an old airfield hangar, which were much too big for them. I think that never mind. As they wanted a remote solution instead, which for their kind of job, they don't really need to be in the office.
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, remote work would be great for them. So
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
I concur.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It also claimed the studio does have projects brewing, and they could end up growing again as Microsoft is dedicated to Toys for Bob and their IP. So don't worry. So I'm looking at this.
I always worry. It's my wheelhouse. So
Yeah.
I don't trust you guys.
Oh my gosh, this is true. I gotta say though, Xbox has to me they seem more upfront and honest than PlayStation does. So I can take their word further than PlayStation. PlayStation has been really on a tear with their reputation as of late. It's
They're
really
very
sad
up
to
and
see.
down lately.
Yeah. I hate to see it. But that's what we're dealing with right now.
Like I said, just give me my games, and I want them to work, and I want to
Yeah.
be able to play them.
One of the things. So I mean, I'm looking at the article. It doesn't go into what what games they're looking at bringing,
Mhm.
what IPs they're working on, but Crash and Spyro probably. So we
Yeah.
can get 'em.
Well, I can tell you, I was like a teenager again, and when they announced it's about time.
Mhm.
So if they do another Crash Bandicoot, I am all over that. Like, it was so exciting
Yeah.
playing that. I know that the trilogy is actually harder than the PlayStation 1 games were. in
Yeah, I
certain
didn't know how
sections.
hard that was. I was
Yeah.
doubting myself. Like, I don't remember it being this hard.
I know, and then like I was like, am I just like, did I start to suck more as I got older, or like, is it actually harder? And like I watched several YouTube videos and read some articles and stuff, and I was like, okay, so it's not just me. So,
Right on.
but yeah,
Yeah.
like I was just like, I don't remember it being this hard when I was younger, but
Mhm.
my best friend and I always did like this tag team thing,
Very cool.
where we would like we would play together and we would switch the remotes back and forth, and I always loved doing that. But that's how we beat a lot of the games. I was like, maybe, I didn't play this section, and
Mhm.
like I can't remember because that was so long ago. But yeah, like I was happy to see other people say that it was a little harder.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
I
I mean,
do love the Crash games, and
yeah,
Spiro is so cute, and I know a lot of people love that. I haven't personally played it, but I've watched a
Mhm.
lot of gameplay on it,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I would love to see them do some new stuff with those two,
yeah, yep,
Yeah.
100%.
for sure.
The only thing is, I mean, with the strategy that Xbox is going with the direction they're going in,
Mhm.
they might end up on PlayStation.
It
Wouldn't
might. I would
so
like Crash
yeah.
on PlayStation where it
Oh my
belongs.
gosh. So it's listening to Phil Spencer talk, um, he seems to be all about the gamer. I gotta tell you, if he makes those kinds of moves, if Hellblade 2 ends up on PlayStation, if
Mhm.
Spyro and Crash end up on PlayStation, I seriously might just bite the bullet and invest in that ecosystem because he
Yeah.
seems it's more about how that company is presenting itself. They're presenting itself as a more honest, um, more relatable type of company, which
Mhm.
you really don't see a lot of these days. And I
Yeah.
think Phil Spencer is probably the best, the only one that could probably convey that. But you know,
I
when
mean,
it gets to that,
honestly,
yeah,
I watched the podcast and I was like, maybe I will get an X. Like
right,
maybe I will look into it. Maybe
yes,
because Hellblade is a game that I really really like, and I
hmm,
am excited for the second one.
yeah,
My son is the one that actually has the two Xboxes. Not that
hmm,
I can't play, I just don't get a lot of opportunity.
right, right,
But you know, after the podcast, I was like, I just might because that's what this is about more than
hmm,
console wars, more than anything else. It's
right,
about the gamers, the players, and
yes,
you should be more concerned with them. They're your business for one, and
hmm,
for two, without them, you don't have a business.
hmm, true,
You know,
100%, yes,
yeah.
yep. So it's like you saying, he puts more emphasis on the player.
Hmm.
So to me, I I'm willing to put my trust and my money in that ecosystem.
Yeah.
I think I bought an Xbox 360 back in like 2012,
Hmm.
2011, 2012, maybe 2013. And I was able to play God of War Ascension on it, which was a fantastic, fantastic game. Absolutely loved it. I played Tomb Raider on it too, but I just wasn't feeling it as much.
Yeah.
I was like, man, the Xbox is cheaper, so I'm gonna go with the Xbox.
Mhm.
And I that's just it was right before I moved here, and I was freaking broke as a joke, and I was like, the Xbox is cheaper. I'm gonna go get an Xbox, and
Yeah.
so, but that was the only reason. That was my only foray, my only step into the Xbox ecosystem. But, after really kind of immersing myself in the gaming industry and seeing the dichotomy between PlayStation and Xbox,
Mhm.
it's really having me reconsider where I should be putting my money. That's what,
Yeah.
but I love Xbox or PlayStation. It's
Yeah.
maybe a nostalgia thing to this point. Just those rose-colored glasses is like, yeah, those games, they look better, blah blah blah
Hmm.
blah. I really got to sit and kind of chew on that for a second, but
Yeah.
um, I'm really thinking that Xbox is making moves that I like. They are all about the gamer, and
Mhm.
maybe it's time for me to kind of reconsider um, why I go for PlayStation first, and that I think I have Sony to thank for all that.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'll probably always go Sony first,
Hmm.
um, just because that's my preference.
Yeah.
But if they don't start doing more focus on the gamer, it might be Xbox first for me. I
Yeah.
don't know, but I am, you know, I was impressed. Even though the Series S has a lot of trouble, I'm still
Hmm.
impressed with the one that we got my kiddo for Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, graphics aren't bad. I mean, I definitely have a difference between Xbox and PlayStation.
Hmm.
I'm not saying PlayStation's better, but it's my preference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I can honestly say after all of that, and I don't have a lot of experience with Phil other than what I read, but
Yes.
you know, doing the podcast, I'm paying a lot more attention to
Yes.
the news, what's going on, the interviews and such like that.
Mhm.
And there's a lot that PlayStation does that I'm like, this is really, really great. And there's a lot that Xbox is doing that I'm like, oh, I really like that. I did that. I could get behind you guys.
Yeah.
Whether that's buying Game Pass just for my laptop, my gaming
Mhm.
laptop, or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna go with what, you know, it's just like a relationship. I'm gonna be with someone that treats me right.
I like that.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because for a lot of us, gaming is a way of life, not
Yeah.
just a hobby.
Oh,
Other
yeah.
people, it's a hobby. For me, it's a way of life. It's a passion.
Mhm.
It's I was lucky that I grew up in the 80s. I barely remember it, but you know, I had the original. You know, we even had an Atari and everything. But
Mhm.
one thing that I can honestly remember is my parents never told me stop gaming. They never
That's awesome. Yeah.
discouraged it. They never they bought me everything that they could. They
Yeah.
encouraged it. I remember being like 30 and my dad's like, what do you want for Christmas? You know, and I'm like, I want this video game system. He's like, you've always loved video games. And then like it would show up at my house and I'd be like,
Yeah.
seriously? Like, you know, that's what I grew up with. And so for me, like it's always been that way since
Yeah.
I was like 7 or 8. You know, it's always been video games, and Nintendo is a huge part of that for me.
Yeah.
So I'm always gonna have Nintendo too. But I like being able to have the options. I like being able to play the games. There's going to be stuff that runs better on Xbox. There's going to be stuff that runs better on PlayStation. Stuff you can only get on one console. I
Yes.
don't mind being a 3 console home, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to be treated well
Yeah.
as a gamer. So
Yeah.
You always want to make sure you have that spectrum of what you could do, right? You don't want to just be
Yes.
held for one. I mean,
Mhm.
that's how it was before too. You know, you had your Sega, your Nintendo.
Mhm.
Now,
Yep.
you know, you got your 3 main consoles now. It's Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox. So
Oh, yeah.
mhm.
as long as, you know, they're all doing well, I think it'd be
Mhm.
nice to, you know, dabble in one another, not just be
Yeah.
one specific console and then, you know, like you said, you know, be that one person that's like, oh, you know, Xbox this, Xbox that, or oh, Sony this or Sony that. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
and that's what makes it harder for people. It's if you have those kind of people just
Mhm.
you know going forth and just being like that, it just makes harder for anybody to be in that same kind of like suit with an Xbox or a PlayStation or a PC or
Mhm.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if more people were just like, this game is awesome, not
Mhm.
oh, it's this system and the games are all better on this system. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just let's play the game.
Yeah.
Let's
And
enjoy
then-
the game. Let's talk about the game.
That's a really
Let's
good
do this
point.
or that. You know.
Just
Um,
open cross-platforming for all.
Yes.
Put
Exactly.
games
Let's
on
do it.
all the systems.
What's
I
that
know.
that meme from Naruto? The two clan leaders shaking hands in PlayStation and Xbox. It's like, dude, that is the end game. Hopefully,
That's what needs to
that's what I
happen.
want.
That
Yes.
would be great. Like
Oh,
there's competition, healthy competition,
Mhm.
and then there's like all out war against each other, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, come on, guys.
Yeah, and it seems that the Sony's the only one that's stuck in that mindset.
Yeah.
I'm sure we would have hit crossplay a lot sooner if you know, PlayStation would have got on board. But they are so old school back then. You know, I
Yeah.
think they saw.
I don't get why crossplay is such a big deal to Sony. That I've never agreed with. I'm just like,
You're right. And then the fact that I think some of this stuff came out during the FTC when it was revealed that Sony, you know, if you don't make like $1 million with them, the dev has to pay Sony.
what?
I think I saw that.
Oh
I
my
think I saw
goodness.
that during the FTC. I was like, if you don't make a certain amount, while this is on our platform, you pay us. It's like, hold on, that's pretty messed up, dude.
That's rude.
You know, it's like I'm already like paying to have it on the platform. It's like you're putting these extra kind of chains on me. Like, what if I just love making games and I don't expect it to make so much money? You know,
Exactly.
but Xbox is not that way. You know,
Yeah.
they're not
That's kind of
that.
like it's kind of like Xbox is great in that respect, and then Sony's great with the fact that they're like, hey, there's no limits, no time, make the best game that you can.
Right.
Here's the money that you need to do it because we want great games on this platform.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they could both learn from each other for sure.
Oh, 100%. Now, with that being said, I'm pretty sure I read it somewhere. Please, someone correct me in the chat if that was incorrect. But I do remember reading that. But with that being said, we'll move on to Rise of the Ronin and it being canceled in Korea. So there's a certain part in the article that kind of gives a little bit of insight into it, but what I deep dived into the conflict between Japan and Korea, and it's freaking nuts. But let's get into the article real quick. All right, so it says Sony reportedly cancels Rise of the Ronin launch in South Korea. Oh, I'm in the wrong freaking window. Here we go. South Korea launch of Team Ninja's upcoming PlayStation 5 exclusive Rise of the Ronin has reportedly been canceled. And I hate when they do that. You know, when you lead with this, it makes it sound like they canceled the entire game, which is not true. I can't stand when they do that. But Korean community website Relaweeb, spotted by Eurogamer, reported that Sony Interactive Entertainment Korea confirmed the game will not be released in that market, either as a box release or via PlayStation Store. The news follows several reports by Korean outlets that the game had been pulled from Korea's PlayStation Store, and almost all promotional videos had been removed from Sony's PlayStation YouTube channel for Korea. And this through GameIndustry.biz. Here, let me grab by James Batchelor. That's funny. According to Ruliweb, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Sony did not give a reason for canceling the launch, but is believed to be connected to the comments made by the game's director Fumihiko Yoshida regarding 19th century scholar Shoin Yoshida. Yoshida taught many of the leaders of the Meiji Restoration, which brought imperial rule back to Japan, and was a key figure in an 1873 debate as to whether Japan should conquer Korea. Spoiler alert, they did. While this was decided against at the time, Japan later took control of Korea in 1910. And occupied it for 35 years.
Until the end of World War II, actually.
That's right. Yep. As such, Yoshida is a controversial figure in Korea, and his inclusion in Rise of the Ronin has sparked criticism. Absolutely nuts. It's freaking crazy.
Well, they've got Sony supposedly did an update and said that they had never had intentions of releasing it in Korea. So I don't know if they're backpedaling or if whoever's in charge of putting the announcements and the upcoming games and whatnot just actually accidentally did it or not.
Right.
But there was a lot. He was a military strategist. He was later killed, but he had a big influence in Japan and played a role in them, basically invading and taking over Korea. There were also, not sound insensitive, but basically military sex slaves with women.
Right. Yes, I saw that and it freaking threw me for a loop.
Exactly. And so they really did a lot. It's kind of like Japan and Korea kind of had this treaty, and they came up with basically restitution, kind of like how the U.S. did with the Japanese camps that they made here during World War II. There was restitution paid and everything. So they've done that together, but I do think that it was probably a sensitivity thing. I don't want to bring up all these old wounds or bring up this family animosity. People are like, well, it's just a game, but you've got to remember when a culture has been through trauma, when a culture is being taught one way, and that person or people or country are being portrayed in this this good light over here, it
Yeah.
could cause a lot of problems, and
100%. Yeah.
you don't want to inadvertently start another conflict between the two countries. So I think
Mhm.
maybe Sony is being smart about this.
Right on. Yeah.
They're saying that they had never intended it to re-release, but I don't know that I believe that. I
Right.
think that that's a backpedal, and oh, we just made a mistake. I don't know why it was showing up in that store.
Yeah.
You just need to be honest.
100%. Yeah.
Again, like we were saying, there's PR, and you do have to take care and be sensitive and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, don't lie. Just be like, we honestly didn't think about it. We had no idea. You can even say, I had no idea that this was a thing.
Right.
Just honesty is going to get you a little further.
Yeah.
There will always be people that bash you and badmouth you and everything like that. But
Mhm.
the majority of the good people in the world are going to be like, hey, you were honest. You didn't think about it. It was a mistake. Hey,
Yeah.
we don't hold it against you. But
100%.
when you're in situations like this and they're like, oh, well, it was never intended. Well, how can we believe you? Because if it was in the store, somebody had to approve that,
Exactly right.
So you come to that point and you're just like,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, I think honesty is the best policy. People might get mad, but they're going to respect you.
Yeah.
And your brand is going to be a brand that they can trust versus being like, oh, well, we don't even, how did that happen? Like, it's like your 5-year-old. Did you eat that cookie that was on the counter? No.
Yeah. When it got,
all over
yes.
the yeah. So not cool. Not cool,
Not
Sony.
cool. Not cool, Sony. Goodness gracious. And I mean, like you said, with everything that happened with that basically invasion during 1910, it was, the sex slaves for the military men when, but it was also, to participate in the Japanese government, you had to get rid of your name. You had to do certain things. Your historical, your history basically was kind of wiped away. They try real hard to wipe away the Korean history. And so when it's running that deep, oh boy.
It's hard.
And the only thing that I would want to is they probably won't get into the occupation of Korea in the game, but if they were to create a game like that, you can't show yourself as the hero. You have to create a protagonist that's fighting against the Japanese to beat them out.
Exactly.
But as far as it being, but like you said, I don't like the fact that it was put on their Play Store. I don't like that.
Exactly.
And then you're saying, oh, it was never meant to be there. It's like, okay, well, I can't, how can I believe you on that? The history of your guys is just, it's too fresh. I mean, shoot, that wasn't even that long ago, So it's like,
I know, like,
it's bad juju.
Think about it. We still have wounds from Pearl Harbor, and at this point, pretty much everybody that was alive during Pearl Harbor is not here anymore.
Right.
But like my grandpa was at Pearl Harbor when it got bombed, and like when September 11th happened, I was at my first duty station. And to this day, it's still very traumatic. So one of the things that I remember most was my grandpa saying, I told you guys this was going to happen again. And then him reliving that horror of being at Pearl Harbor. He was just like, you could see the whites of their eyes when they were flying. And I was like,
oh my God.
Like, it was crazy. But think about that. I have an issue, and that was 2 generations ago. So how could the South Koreans not have the same issue? North Korea is not going to let this stuff in their borders, so it doesn't, like, that's not who we're talking about right here. But it got into their story. You obviously, that was an intentional thing, or a huge oversight because you weren't paying attention, and you probably should research maybe some of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on. Um, I don't know. That one's a that's heavy.
Hmm.
That's a heavy one.
It really is.
I didn't mean for it to get this heavy. I try to keep it light
Yeah.
and like a
Which,
beignet.
you know, not all of us are aware of this stuff. So, like, it at first, like, it didn't seem all that heavy to me.
Hmm.
I was just like, well, I know about the occupation and I know
Hmm.
about some other stuff. But then I looked into it deeper and I was just like, whoa,
Yeah,
like, not
it's
cool.
brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
So, I mean, games aren't what they used to be back in the day where it was just to play and you got some skills and stuff. Now we're getting historically accurate stuff, or
Yes.
based on true things. And so I think that's
Hmm.
something that we need to be a little more mindful of, not only as developers and companies that put out these things, but
Hmm.
as gamers.
Oh
So
yeah. I distinctly remember a time I was playing Metal Gear Solid 3, and I was got called on in my class, and I was able to answer questions
mhm,
from the Cold War.
yeah,
And my teacher was like, how do you know that? And it's like, I'm playing a video game, okay? And it's
exactly.
covering that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
It's like, she was super surprised. I That was like the only part that I did well in that class, and it was
Yeah.
from a freaking video game. It's freaking
That's okay.
awesome.
Just I remember parents saying video games are gonna rot your brain. Well, guess
Hmm.
what? Test I just passed, Mom.
Yeah. And like you were saying about your parents, they never um badmouth video games
Mhm.
or anything like that. My mom never did either.
That's good. That's really good.
So I grew up in a very um game forward
Mhm.
environment, and I really appreciate my mom for that.
Yeah,
Really appreciate my mom for that. She was awesome.
absolutely.
My
I
brother
appreciate
never
my
got
parents
into.
for that too.
Yeah, yeah. My
Of
brother
course, I
is
spent
always
a lot of time outside too, and I was in sports. But
we all did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But gaming on the weekends,
mhm,
don't mess with me.
I
I'm
know.
I'm playing whatever.
I'm
you know.
not gonna lie. I missed curfew a few times because I was like, we cannot stop this level. We've got the momentum. I know I'm not gonna be able to play this great tomorrow. Um,
Yes.
but my dad was actually pretty cool about it whenever I did. So
Right on. That's awesome.
yeah.
Let's get into some more um comments. We have this one from Lord Beerus. One thing that always gets me. I'm sure you all remember buying a new game back in the day and getting that instruction manual, yes, and having the fun of reading it and getting excited for the game, yes,
Yes.
100%.
Hmm. That was like the best part. You like open it
Yes,
up in the back seat of the car while your parents are driving home. You're reading it, getting all hyped up.
yes, oh yeah. We got another one from Lord Beerus. Even the 2-hour Lunar games on PlayStation 1 had cloth maps.
Yes, they used to give you things with certain games.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think one of the last few in the past like decade or so that I
Hmm.
remember is I think it was honestly Lego Harry Potter. Like it
Right
gave
on.
you with the Nintendo DS, you got like a stylus with like a Lego block square on there, and then you could have like Harry Potter figures put on it. And
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, and so I remember, what he's
Oh my
talking about.
goodness.
Like back in the day, we would get cool things with video games, and now it's just like, here's your disc,
I'm gonna have to
or
open up.
you have to spend $40 extra
Yeah,
so
for the
you can get some
come
stuff.
on. Yes, right. Oh my
Yeah.
God, they've gotten really out
Mhm.
of hand with that. Original soundtrack, necklaces, etc. That's quality. That makes it magical for the players. Bring that back as a courtesy to gamers for the money they spend on your games.
Yes.
100%. Another one from Lord Beerus. Speaking of multiple consoles, do you remember the Soul Calibur 2 game and it having exclusive secret characters only available on certain consoles? Yes.
Yep.
So you
Yes.
either had to buy or rent all versions.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh yeah. It's like Spawn was relegated to one, and I can't remember who else they
I
had
think they had
on there.
Assassin's Creed for Xbox, and then they had Link for the Nintendo.
Very
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
That's
Which is cool.
crazy.
Like I like that.
Yeah. It's like that players are gonna get excited for.
Mhm.
You know.
Well, Mortal
Um.
Kombat did that a couple years ago too, where they had Kratos for PlayStation, and then I
Yes.
think they had
Oh
Master
shoot.
Chief for
Xbox.
yeah.
Dang.
I,
Okay. I
I
didn't
think
know
they
that.
did, and like there was something else for Nintendo, but I cannot remember for the life of me.
Oh, that's hilarious. I didn't know that.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. Like I like stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
I think like with pre-orders, like I know especially Mortal Kombat will do it, where you get like a specific character if you do the pre-order.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think eventually it might be years later, but eventually sometimes they'll give you the option to go ahead and go buy that character, which I think is a good idea, and I think they should do that. Like hey, it's been a year and a half. Let me go ahead and release this character on the other console. Let these people have it.
Yeah.
Like you've already gotten your exclusive. You've already gotten your money's worth out of the exclusive. Go ahead and let them have it, because most of us, I think as parents, we are the kind that have to wait for games to go on sale most of the time. But like the single people that or even teenagers that live at home, they want that game right then, right now. They are not waiting. So they're going to get it on your console, but if you eventually open it up, you're going to have a lot more fun.
Yeah.
So.
Right on. Okay. Another. Here, I'm trying to go through. Okay. Another comment from Lord Beerus. I'm sure it won't happen, but imagine Conker's Bad Fur Day either getting remastered or new sequels with that humor. I'm really looking for. As a matter of fact, I want to ask the whole panel, what is a game that you're really looking forward to getting remastered, or or remade, or whatever?
Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yeah, that one's good. That one's
we
good.
knew Pandas was going to be that.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking really forward to that one too.
My
Yeah, I would
biggest
definitely
one
buy
was
that.
Dead Space, and when that came out, it was amazing. So
Yeah.
my
And
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't
do like
even
that.
that far removed from because I want to say, didn't it come out on PlayStation 3, or not PlayStation, but Xbox 360,
yeah,
right?
Yep.
And then so it's not like it's a generation removed from the original, and they freaking made it look so good.
Yes. That
It
game
was
came
crazy.
out pretty awesome the way I look
Yeah,
at it, and it just made it better. They, like I said before, they added like maybe one or two extra missions on it that connected the whole story, but in overall they didn't mess with it too much. They kept it all the same, still the same dark, action packed.
Yeah.
It was a good game.
Yeah, and you guys set me straight on that. Not having a 1-for-1 remake, just a fresh coat of paint on it. I think I sat and thought about it. It's like, you're right. Having something a little bit of a tweak to it is not a bad thing. It can kind of add a little bit of flavor to it. So
If they remaster like the originals, which doesn't cost as much, but at least eventually remaster them, or let people kind of get them or something. I really like the remakes because modern day graphics, and then they add more stuff, or they might take stuff away that people really enjoyed from the last story, but they might be adding stuff in that explains it a little better, that they understand in hindsight that they didn't have the first time they made the game. I'm really loving the Resident Evil remakes. I think it's fantastic. They've pretty much done remasters or released enough of them that we can all still play the original. It's going to be fine, but I'm really looking forward to more remakes, like Code Veronica's. It's a canon, and it's not a main game necessarily, but it's got a huge following, a huge fan base, and I think almost everybody has been asking for that one, and even Capcom did a poll on votes and stuff, like, what do you want to see remade? Honestly, I want to see them all remade in the RE engine. But we've got remasters of the original and 0 and all that. They remade 2 and 3 and 4, and so 5 definitely needs to be remade. There's a lot in the gameplay mechanics. I'm just like, this is not cool. 6, nobody really liked that, so there's probably a lot of opportunity to go in there and change some things. But I do love originals, and I love the remakes, but it's kind of cool being able to bring it to a new generation, or use new technology and realize the game in a way that you couldn't when it came out.
Oh yeah, 100%.
For me, it would be
yes.
It would be Jack and Daxter, that the whole series, 1, 2, and 3.
It's a good
Um,
series.
the thing I'm wrestling with is whether they should go realistic or if they should stay to its like kind of cartoony kind of
Cartoony,
look
yeah.
to it.
I mean, look at
Um,
the way they did Crash Bandicoot. I think if they
yeah,
do that
Exactly.
kind of way, it would
yes,
look amazing.
yes,
Yes.
yep. That's an even better example than I was gonna give. I was gonna give Kingdom Hearts 3,
Mm.
how good and sleek that looks. Not a lot of change to the overall design, but it's a lot cleaner. Looks
Yes.
so good. So yeah, yeah, Jack and Daxter for me. I think Konami will come to a crossroads where they're going to just have to remaster all of their old IPs because they don't have anyone there left that can make good new games, you know. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to Metal Gear Delta, you know, Metal Gear Solid Delta, and hopefully they decide to do, you know, Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and the whole gamut. I'd love to see all of them, but
Yeah.
I think they will. But I think the reason they're starting with 3 is that that's where like the series kind of begins, you know.
Yeah.
So we might see them redo all of them. But we got a comment from John DBZ. Beerus, they did that with Mortal Kombat as well, which yes, which you guys did, because I've seen the characters. I didn't know that they were for specific consoles though.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know that. Here's one from Lord Beerus. Crash and Spyro belong on PlayStation. It's where it belongs. I 100% agree.
I do.
I
agree
100%
with that.
agree. But you
I
know,
don't mind it being on other platforms, but
me
it
neither.
needs to be
It
on
should be owned.
PlayStation
Yes.
where they belong.
Lord Beerus says, "Good point, John." They're going. Yeah, yes about the Mortal Kombat. Here's John DBZ. Just got back from making food. Did I miss the X-Men thing? X-Men thing.
Oh goodness.
I don't know.
Maybe talking about the games.
Or with the way everything is going right now, I am really looking forward to Wolverine from Insomniac, but I don't know if they'll do it justice now. I don't know. And then he might be referring to the new X-Men 97 that came out on Disney Plus. I've heard all the controversy surrounding it and everything like that. But I don't have Disney Plus, so you know, it's not like I can, you know, kind of take advantage of that anyway. But I was a huge fan of X-Men back in the day. Jubilee was my favorite. She was my favorite because I don't know why, but I liked her powers. They were I don't know why.
I was always big on Storm.
Oh, right on. She was another good one.
Yeah.
But as I matured, Wolverine became my favorite X-Men. Beast was also a big one for me. Nightcrawler, maybe it's blue. Maybe it's because I love blue.
I love Nightcrawler and I loved
Mhm.
Wolverine. I used to watch the cartoons. I had all of the card collections.
Yeah.
I was big into Xbox, so
It's like
or not Xbox, X-Men.
yeah, no worries. No
That
worries.
was not
no
a
worries.
promotion, guys.
She's not sponsored by Xbox. Okay, calm down, everybody. But I mean, you know, I don't know. As far as the new stuff coming out, I like my old stuff because no one like. Okay, so on Twitter, the first episode has been open to critics for Avatar: The Last Airbender, and everyone seems to hate it. And they gave their specific reasons. One in particular that comes to mind is that, you know, they pay little, you know, lip service to the original Avatar, but overall they're doing their own thing apparently, and that's not at all what I wanted. And that speaks to a bigger kind of problem with these creators that take these IPs. They don't care about these stories. They don't care about these characters. But they are more than willing to use them to, you know, for their fan base, you know, to tell the story that they want to tell and not stay true to the, you know, what we actually want to see, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand changing some things or taking liberties with some things, but The Last Airbender, I mean, there's a reason that it got a live action movie. There's a reason that they're giving it a live action TV show. There's a reason that it got the spin off, The Legend of Korra. It's important. It's loved. It's a big opportunity. I normally go into remakes or TV shows, live action or whatever. I usually go into it with the mindset of it's standalone, but I think that it needs to honor the source material,
Right.
or it's not going to work. You know,
Right.
you take these characters that you loved and you're just like, well, I'm gonna do what I want. That's not how you get the old fans along with the new fans.
That's right. And I think that's why Sonic was so popular and Mario. I think that's why they did so well, because sure, there were a bunch of Easter eggs,
Yes.
but the ones making it, they knew the assignment. They knew what we wanted to see, and that's why I loved the Mario movie. I love the Sonic movies. They gave me
Same here.
Supersonic. They gave me Supersonic. I've kind of always wanted to see that in live action form. So, hey man, you got me hooked for number 3.
Oh, I know. Like number 3 is not even a question. If you sold tickets today and you guys haven't even started it, I will go ahead and buy it right now.
This is so funny. Like when Sonic 2 came out, I can't remember where I was, but my family was out somewhere and but I went and watched that movie without them, and my son got super mad at me.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Got so bad. He was like, "You saw that by yourself? Oh, bad dad. And I was like, "Come on, dude.
I know.
Don't do that." Another we do have quite a bit of comments. We're gonna get through all of them. No, I don't believe they mentioned it, and this has come from Lord Beerus. No, I don't think they mentioned it yet. It definitely should be addressed because that trailer was fire. Nice. I didn't get to see the trailer, and it's on Disney Plus, so I won't be watching it. The only thing that's really got me super interested about the new stuff that's coming out is the Knuckles show.
I'm excited to see that.
I will pay like 1 month of Paramount Plus just to watch the Knuckles show.
I think you can do a free trial. Just wait for the show to be released in full.
Be
And then you can
completed
binge
and
it
ready to go.
That's right. That's how you work it.
Right on. Let's see. We've got the Xbox and PlayStation do have some games that mix, but Nintendo did have Smash Bros. With both. Yes. That one was a really big one for Nintendo. And, that really kind of, along with their Pokemon games and everything like that, but that one right there really solidified them as a, freaking party kind of, fun, family friendly, you can play with your brothers, sisters, cousins, you can come and have a good old time.
Yeah.
With this,
and it was also like, hey, serious gamers, we can be serious too. Like they have competitions with it.
Right on.
Stuff.
Oh
So
my gosh, cool.
it ended up being really great for them.
Yes. Oh yeah. And then adding in the new characters and things like that.
Yep.
That people wanted to see and love to play with. That's awesome. Another one from Lord Beers. People take the console wars way too nuts. I agree. It's supposed to be a friendly rivalry like Ken and Ryu or Goku and Vegeta. Well, now Vegeta and Goku now, but then there's extreme gatekeeping that ruins it for everyone. That is very true. You have someone who's like, just getting into gaming. Imagine someone's just getting into gaming and, they look online and try to figure out which one would be best for them. And these kind of the fans
you've got the fans that are all that you're fighting between them.
Yeah, it'll absolutely turn someone away from buying a console. It's like, you know what, forget this, I'm just getting PC.
Yeah, for real.
And become a part of the master race. John DVZ, you learn a lot in general with games. I've learned more history in Hades and God of War than my college class.
Yes,
you learn a lot.
Can.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And if you're a nerd like me, you'll go research the stuff later.
Yeah.
Or while you're doing it, because I have to have the knowledge.
Yes, and for me, obviously, they took some liberties with God of War and the Greek mythology, but it gives you the desire to go look this stuff up for yourself, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so whenever they came out with the Norse realm for God of War, I went and I freaking sucked up everything that I could.
Mhm.
Pause about learning all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was freaking cool. Norse mythology is way cooler than I thought it was. I
Oh
was
yeah,
all
it really
Greek
is.
mythology.
I'm big on anything Viking though, because
Hmm.
my dad did our genealogy and traced us all the way back there.
There you go.
So it's just kind of cool. I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah.
I probably have like a 0.0003% of Viking in me now, but
Yeah.
it's still cool.
Yeah.
I've always loved like ancient Egypt, so when Assassin's Creed Origins came out, I was like, I'm all over that.
Yeah.
And I love that they get the history in there, and they'll take their liberties with stuff, but I love it. I like to be like, ooh, was this true, or what's the deeper story
Yes.
behind this? So
Oh yeah.
I really
That's very
love it.
cool. We've got another from Lord Beerus, Legend of Dragoon and Legend of Legai. Oh my gosh, you guys can't see that, can you? Here,
I'm not
Oh, wait,
even
you
gonna
can
pretend
see
to
that.
say that because my dyslexia is just going wild on that.
here. I'm gonna
Lagaya,
look that up.
maybe?
That sounds
Okay.
right.
I don't know. Lord Beerus will take a month to get back to us, so
No.
I'm just kidding, dude.
Oh, okay. Here, this is what we have here.
Oh yes. Okay, now I remember.
Legend of Legai. I can honestly say I've never played that game.
I haven't
Legend
played
of
it, but I
Legai.
do remember it because I had people that had that.
Okay, that's freaking cool. It looks good. Shoot, and if if they're talking about remaking games, I'd like to see this one remade. Let's see. You know what? We'll get into. I'll have this playing on the. Let's see. I don't know if they'll be able to hear this, but look at that. Almost. You guys seeing this?
I know I am, but that's because we're doing the stream. I don't know. Let me see
Right
if they
on.
can see it in the. I don't think it's seen in the live stream, but
Oh no
the
no
live
no
stream
no.
seems to be a little behind. But yeah, I can see it, of course.
Right on. Okay, that looks super cool.
It does
Lord
look
Bears.
cool.
I hope I see remakes for those. Those are my top 2 choices for remakes.
Nice.
Legend of, you know what? I want to see Legend of Dragoon too. I didn't look that one up.
I really think that would be cool. Lord Beers has some good like retro games though. Like he knows a lot of stuff.
Freaking John does too. He
Yes.
showed me some things
That's
that I
pretty
had no idea.
cool. Lord Beerus is my go-to for like retro gaming, especially on his YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
he
that
just
one
did.
looks
He
sick.
just did my favorites of the Super Mario Land 1 and 2, and
Yeah.
And Link's Awakening and stuff. And I'm just like, yes, like I get to relive my childhood because I don't have access to any of that stuff.
Right on. Yeah. Holy moly! Look at this guy.
Oh man.
Oh, the gamer. Come on.
Ugh.
But no, that looks sick. Very good choices on that
Ooh,
one.
look at
Holy
that one.
crap.
It says The Legend of Dragoon on PS5. Go down 2. Right there. No, over. To your right.
Oh, this one? Gamer it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you.
That one you can kind of get out of. Thank God.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay,
I am
so
fucking
Legend of
nervous.
Dragoon's PS4, PS5 reception proves Sony is leaving money on the table without a remake. Huh. The Legend of Dragoon has finally been added to PlayStation Plus Premium, ending its long drought of unavailability. The announcement of The Legend of Dragoon's debut on PlayStation Premium caused widespread excitement as longtime fans eagerly awaited any news surrounding the title. The Legend of Dragoon is a first-party title for Sony, originally developed by Japan Studio for the PlayStation 1. Given the overwhelmingly positive reception to its debut on PlayStation Premium, Sony is leaving money on the table. Right on. Okay.
Okay, yeah, because they have the classic content that you can get when you get into the higher tier.
Right.
I believe you can like kind of stream them.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes,
yeah,
there
I
definitely
might have
is.
to. Yeah, I might have
Okay.
to check that out because I've got that top tier.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Lubrius.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. Okay. Very two great choices. Holy crap, bud. We've got one from John DBZ. I wish for update version I'd put Breath of Fire on that list with Vendel Hearts, but never will happen. Maybe. Let's hope. We're hoping. Another one from Lord Beers. Of course, the Resident Evil Queen wants all Resident Evil games remade.
You know, I wanna do, like I said, I'm gonna do the whole series at some point. I'm hoping to do it over this year.
Yes, it's the look. Lord Beers and John DVZ. They're like, it's like, hey. It's like, but Lord Beers says, did you say Vendel Hearts? Wow, it's very rare to hear another fan of Vendel Hearts. That's so funny. Deep cuts happening in the comments.
That's awesome.
Lord Beers, which Breath of Fire, John? I love this. And John says, you can look back at some very old games that would be cool now, but would take a long time to deal with. Just look at how much they put into Final Fantasy VII. Yeah.
That is true.
And then Lord Beer says, true, John, true. And then John WZ, what old game would Geek and Panda pick that would be a wish list game to update?
I was honestly
Mm-hmm.
really excited about the Tomb Raider remasters.
Yeah.
The originals.
Mhm.
Tomb Raider was always a big one, especially with my sister-in-law. We really
Mhm.
bonded over that game.
Yeah.
So I kind of already got my old game.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, and also they had already redone Crash Bandicoot and then gave us a fourth one, which was really exciting for me.
Yeah.
So I've kind of gotten my older games that I wanted from when I was younger. They redid Resident Evil 2, which was my first PlayStation game, period. It was Resident Evil 2, then Crash Bandicoot, and then Parappa the Rapper.
Oh, nice.
And so those were really fun. I mean,
Parappa the Rapper. Oh my god.
That's
I know.
Okay.
I just
Yes.
aged myself.
Oh
But
my god.
yeah,
I got
mean,
that
for
in the demo from a magazine back in the day.
Yes. Oh, I missed those demo discs.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say there's a game on a demo disc that I don't remember what it was called. I gotta look for it.
Yeah.
Right
It was
on.
on the PS1. I know one of them had like this little tank that would talk a whole lot of crap. Oh man, I gotta find it.
That's great. But yeah, I mean, I actually did get pretty much everything remade that I already wanted. Like I said, I want them to redo Resident Evil 5 so
Mhm.
bad, and
Yeah.
Code Veronica. I really do wish that they would do. I know that they did like a remaster of the original Resident Evil, but I do wish that they would redo it with the RE engine and give it these graphics and kind of redo everything. So, but
Right on. Okay. That's freaking great question.
yeah,
Um,
I love their questions and their interactions.
And Lord Beers agreed. He says, excellent question, John. Lord Beers, I'll remember that later, Miss Jill.
I bet you will. Thank you.
John DBZ, Beers and me being the older gamers in chat. Yes.
You guys are bonding now.
Yes, I love that. And so, he let's see. Okay. Lord Beers, he teaches us how to pronounce Legend of Dragoon and Legend of Legaia.
Legaia. Okay.
Yeah. Legend of Legaia.
Or
is how
Legaia. Legaia.
Oh, gotcha. Legaia is how they're pronounced. They're PS1 JRPGs.
See, Lord Beers is good. He always helps you out.
Yes. Another one, John. I have great taste in old games, 100%. Yes, because he is Lord Beers, of course.
He does.
John DVZ, retro games is okay, Beers. I let you pop by my place anytime to play Pac-Man on my arcade table. That's so
Whoa. John, do I get an invite too?
Obviously,
Being serious. I love me some Pac-Man.
Lord Beer says, no joke, Dragoon and Legaia. have been talked about for remakes and sequels for years, like probably over 20 years, I think. It's the cash cow, but nope, Sony won't do them. Yeah, they're too busy doing remakes of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Lord Beers
After
again.
after 2 years.
Yeah, I know. That's what kills me. It's
I
like,
still bought the remaster though of part 2 because it was only $10 for me because I already owned it. So
right.
why not? That's like a DLC right there.
Kind of, I guess. It's all, yeah, I guess.
It's the price
But
of the DLC. I went for it. I had gift cards from Christmas, so
there you go. Right on. So you basically got it for free.
I did get it for free.
Resident Evil 0 needs a remake.
Yes, that really does, and I really would love to see that one too because it's got a lot of Rebecca in it, and I think that Jill's wildly popular, but they don't utilize her very much in games. They never really have. And Rebecca has been the one that's just completely overlooked. She was like, I want to say like 19 or something, fresh graduate, super intelligent scientist. And she was like the doctor for the STARS team. And
okay.
I mean, she's been in a lot of the movies. But I think that they should definitely utilize her more, bring her into some more stuff. I would kill for like a Rebecca, Jill, and Claire game.
Oh, shoot. They're probably listening. They'll probably give that one to you. Freaking.
I'm telling you.
Oh my gosh. There's a ton of those Resident Evil movies out there. And I'm not talking about the
the CGI ones that Sony themselves does. Like when they put out Death Island, you didn't have to, I didn't even need to see a preview. All I saw was a picture. It was Leon, Chris, Jill, Rebecca, and Claire, and I was like, I'm sold. Like, here's my money. Go ahead and take it. I don't even need to read it. I don't care what it's about. Just it's got them. Give it to me.
Yeah, right on. Lord Beerus, again, he says, can you all imagine the 3 Super Mario Land games getting a remake with the same graphics and engine that the Link's Awakening remake had? They've been doing so good with the remakes. Like,
Link's Awakening is gorgeous. I'm actually going to do that on my channel.
Right on. Point. Yeah.
So it looks so good the way it was remade, and it's so cute. Little Link.
Oh, John DVC says, I have a full arcade so you can pop by. Sure, but I think you would spend most of the time looking at the console. I've collected everything in the past 30 years.
I would spend a lot of time fangirling and probably get you, like, you'd probably take about a week to get me out of there, but yeah.
I know. It's like a museum.
Right?
If it wasn't for Rebecca, and this comes from Lord Beers, if it wasn't for Rebecca, the team would have probably been unalived because she made the antidote quick in the mission.
Yeah, she did, and it was like they did a callback to that in the Death Island movie that they released last summer.
Yeah.
Like she was like, okay, y'all go and explore everything, and they call her, and she's just like, oh, well, maybe we need to make an antidote. And I swear she shows up within like hours, and everybody's infected except for Jill. She's just like, it was just great.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I know what I'm watching. Okay.
Yeah.
And Lord Beer says Death Island rocked.
It did. It was so good. It was
right
so
on.
Good.
So that's 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Oops.
I think we're getting ready. Let's get ready to wrap up a little bit.
Sorry, guys.
Oh no, freaking! It's been awesome. But my wife popped in and was like, "Are you almost done?" And I'm like, "Okay, I'll get done." But one more.
Yeah, you would have to push me home.
John will probably have to push GamerGeek out of the house. That's hilarious. Right on.
That's gonna be the phrase from last week's stream. Like he pushed his way into my lap. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We'll make T-shirts, Lord Beerus.
Yeah. First and foremost, John DBZ, Lord Beerus, thank you for being in the chat. And Lord Beerus, you've been going hard on Twitter, and we really appreciate you for that, man. It's been absolutely ridiculous. I've been watching that, freaking what you're doing almost brings me to tears, dude. Seriously. But any last notes, Panda? You got anything to sign off for us to sign off?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did discuss a lot, that's for sure.
Yes.
Hoping for another one for next week. We'll probably have a lot more information as well, but it's fun. This is exciting. I like learning a lot, and then the going back and forth between all three of us in the comment section. It's
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
exciting.
Yeah.
Mhm. And Panda brings a lot to the table with his knowledge and his jokes. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love
He's
it.
like the fundamental gamer guy.
I'm telling
You
you.
know, if you guys seen his room, you know.
I know. I gotta get a cam, man. I gotta find a good one that can show the whole room.
Right
There
on.
you go.
Gamer, anything to sign off with?
Actually, I think that's pretty good. You know, I just always have so much fun. I could talk to you guys for like hours. So
Yeah. You
we
guys
could probably
make it
go
so
on
easy.
another 2 hours. So
Yeah.
but
Right on. And I have nothing. We'll talk offline, but I'll go ahead and
Okay.
get this wrapped up here in a second. See you
all right,
guys.
guys. You guys have a great one, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining, guys.
Absolutely.
Right on. Thank you, everyone. Like we said, specifically. It's even more fun. We have an actual panel now, but thank you guys for showing up. Really appreciate it. For everyone else, if you are in the chat, not saying anything, we really appreciate you. If you enjoyed that conversation, leave a like and subscribe. It's the best thing you can do for the channel. And we have these various links you could take advantage of also. It really helps out the channel. But other than that, see you in the next live stream. But until then, keep it casual. Peace. There we go.